Okay, I thought I'd just grab my little zip and whip all those out of there, but apparently you got to use the second smallest Allen wrench that they deliver with the tool to be able to take these tiny little screws out.
Me and the boys was sitting around drinking, we was talking about things that we was thinking, when all of a sudden what comes out of Bill's mouth? Said I'm getting old and fat and slow, and I don't recover like I did before from nights of rabble, rousing and too much fun. Well, I looked around and we all agreed, and I had a drink and I ordered 3, and I staggered back to do it all again. Then we made an oath on a rum and coke with the best intention, I'm sure you know, that we would stop this living in excess. We're gonna have one more party, one more special occasion. Do it Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, holidays and weekends. We can have one more party. There's more hell we should be raising. One more party now, one more party tonight.
Okay, when you take the back cover off, be careful because there's another wire hanging off this fan that you'll have to be aware of. And I don't know how I'm going to manage that. Maybe I'll just try to put something here to keep this just sitting. Because for so, oh wait, just unwrap it around that that cable tie, and then you can lay it flat down on your counter. That cable's plenty long enough to just lay there then. Alright, the next thing they want you to do is plug the cable into the board. And it looks like there's only one place it can go, and that's where this plug is right here. So we'll pull that out and set it aside. And then we'll plug this in. If I can do it with my left hand, we'll see. There we go, that's plugged in. Next thing they want us to do is take this cable and feed it through that hole. Alright, they say pass the connection cable through the cable hole on the back cover and wind the cable between the Z-axis optical axis and the right cover. What does that look like it should do there? So it kind of comes through just along that right side, although I guess it depends on which side you're looking from. So that would be the left side if you're looking from the back, but the right side if you're looking from the front. So if we look at that, it's coming through right there, and we'll see if I can't swing it through, and then I'll come back. Okay, I pulled that cover or that wire all the way through. It's pretty dark in there, but now it's coming out over here. What do they want me to do next? Okay, they say they want me to plug it into the camera, and there's the plug-in, that white area, and there's a front and back side on the cable. So if we look at that, yep, there's a little notch on the corners there that we got to line up with the angled sides of this thing, which is very hard to tell. Can you guys tell? Looks like a rectangle to me. Okay, so if you look really close, the pins are on the bottom side of this deal, and so you got to look and see where the pin holes are on here, so need to be on the bottom side of that too. Okay, then put it on. Maybe it would have been easier if they would have told us on the corner side there, or the angled side, make sure the red is on the right. Okay, now they say loosen the screws on the camera and secure it to the right side beam. So there's got to be something in here to hook to. Probably right up in here somewhere. If I look from the top, it appears to be right there that I need to hook to. Maybe that's a little bit easier way to see. It's a lot easier to see if you move this thing out of the way. It looks like it goes right on that little tab right there. Can you guys see it? Yeah, it's still hard to see, but it's there. Okay, I think I need to read the instructions. It says secure it, let's see, right side beam sheet metal close to the door and secure it with the screws. So if I look in there a little deeper yet, which I know you can't see, I could only feel it, there's a piece of sheet metal behind that piece of plastic that I might be able to hook to. Okay, let's look at this a little bit closer again. Those thumb screws look like they're pointing down, and that camera has to be pointing down at the build plate. And that thing is right next to the edge of the door. Okay, let's go see if we can't find something now that's similar to that. Aha! I found something. It's right here on the edge of the build plate, or the build thing. It looks like that is the spot that they want it to be. If I come around from the front, looking at the camera, it appears to be right there. I think that's what they want it to do. Okay, nothing in the notes about reassembly. I don't know, maybe there is, but I can't read whatever that says. But put it back together and let's go see if we can get the camera to work. Okay guys, so now I'm using some Elegoo PLA+, and I'm reloading this thing. So how do I do that? I gotta come over here to the gear and go to load, and then go to load, and it's going to spit some stuff out. You can see the old piece still sitting there. Now it's got to heat up. Once it heats up, then it's going to spit some stuff out, and then we can reload the new stuff. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so now it's spit out the old stuff. Now we're going to have it put in the new stuff. So we're just going to string some of it in here, and then we're going to hit retry. And we're going to hit retry again. Oh, there it comes. You can see it coming out. And then when we get that tube seated, then we can come in here and peel off this leftover piece. Alright. We now have it reloaded. With some PLA Plus from Elegoo. Got the door wide open. We're going to say completed. And we're going to go back home. Alright, let's go see now if we can connect to this thing and print with the camera. But before we do that, we need to deal with this Sunlu PETG. We don't want this getting waterlogged, so I bought these zip bags, and they got these little clips to zip them shut. and then you got this vacuum thing to suck all the air out of it. But I can't do that with one hand, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, it's zipper tied shut. Now let's see if we can vacuum it. Maybe not with one hand, huh? Oh, there it's starting to go. Let's suck all the air out of here. That should be able to suck more air out of there than that. I'm going to probably have to use two hands. I'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, it's vacuumed up pretty good now. Now I can store this stuff away and wait till I need PETG again. Okay, this is weird. This is not an IP address, and I'm not getting any of the networking stuff. But if I unplug the camera from there and plug back in whatever this little dongle thing is, then the Wi-Fi comes back. So I need to figure out what the heck these guys did. If I look at this a little bit closer, there's another port behind this one here that they have glued in. I wonder if this wasn't supposed to be plugged into that hidden one back there and this be in the other one, but I guess since they're USB they should work in any port. So I'm going to plug the USB thing or the Wi-Fi thing back in to where it was originally, and then we'll power this back up and let's see if the Wi-Fi comes back. And I'm waiting for it to boot up. Let's see if this all can get to working now. Okay, we'll go to the network. Alright, now it's showing an IP address. And my network is there. So that little dongle thing back there must have to be plugged in to one of the USB ports. So I'm going to put this thing back together and then we'll see if we can't connect to it. Okay, so now that we have the printer on the network and the camera installed and supposedly working, the next thing to do, you want to hook it up to your network. So, or you hook it up to your computer, you go into Qidi Slicer, go over here to the device tab, then you hit the plus sign over here and you can browse and find the printer and then select it. If everything works out well, you'll have an IP address in there and then you can give it a name. And then just hit OK. Now all this stuff comes up, but then your printer or your camera isn't turned on. So the next thing you need to do is come down here. Oh, this is the fluid thing that people talk about here. It's the devices from the Qidi Slicer. Come in here to the settings, and then you come down to where you find the camera. Ah, here we go. Here's cameras. And then you go to add camera, and then you can enable it and then name it. I don't know why you have to name it, but they want it named. Then you hit add, and then when you go back over here, you should have it. But if that thing's sitting in the dark and you can't see, how do you turn on the lights so you can see what you're printing? That, you come down to the fans and outputs area and you turn on the case light. Then if you scroll back up here, you notice you can see what's in your printer. So if you have something in here, you'll have to go out and take it off first, or if not, you can then come back to your printer, find something to print, and let's see. Well, let's see if I can do that. So I'm going to come in here, File, and import something from my D100. I think I have my somewhere. Where's my cigarette lighter? Lighter. Here we go. Lighter 4, I think, was the last one that I was happy with. And then you come in and you just set your settings up for it. So this thing, I'm going to leave pretty much everything there. Let's see. Can I pick which? Generic PLA is what I'm printing. I'm going to come into the filament settings, and if I look back at what the filament said it was supposed to work at, was somewhere between 200 and 230 degrees. So I'm going to set this to 235 or 225 for my print temperature. If I could type. And the bed temperature was between, I think, 60 and 80. Let me look at that again. Someplace on that spool it said how much or what the settings should be, and I took a picture of it. So looking at the spool, it's supposed to be between 40 and 60 degrees, and the printing temperature is between 200 and 230. So I'm going to let everything else be the same since the temperature is already set to 60. I don't need to do anything much with I'm not doing any overhangs or anything. I can come back to the print settings. Going to do a little bit of infill and no brim either. I just want it to print. Then we can come back in here. No support material. Come back to the plotter and then we slice it. And that's what it's going to look like when it prints. A little bit of infill. Looks about right for what I want it to print. And then I can send it to the printer. Upload the printer, yes. Upload and print. So I want to print it. And if I go back to the device, I can watch and see what it's doing. So you can see it's moving already. And it's heating up the plate. It's probably going to do a little bit of leveling and stuff like that, but we'll come back and check it out when it's done. Okay, it's starting to print, and someplace in here there's some data about the printing. It looks like it's going to take about 20 minutes to print. Alright, we'll come back when it's closer to done. Okay, just a few more layers to print. Let's see how it finishes up. It's on 117 of 121 now, and it's been printing for a total of 13 minutes so far. I think that includes a warm-up time. It looks like it's going to take 5 more minutes to finish. I think that might be with the cool down time, because there's only a few more layers. There's only one more layer after this one. So it doesn't seem like it would take 5 minutes to print them. It's only been taking about 4 or 5 seconds to print each one. Slicer says 3-2 seconds. There we go. Park the head, and now it's lowering the plate, the build plate. And there it is. Alright, that's how it prints the item, and you can watch it do it so you know if it fails and you need to stop it. It took actually a total of 19 minutes and 3 seconds with printing time of 15 minutes or 16 minutes, and the slicer time was 13 minutes and 49 seconds, and this thing used 2.15 meters of filament out of, I think a kilogram is right around 330 something meters, so it's a smaller percentage. But definitely looks like it did a pretty good job. Maybe we should go out to the shop and take a look at it now. Okay, there you have it, guys. I printed it off and it came out very well. Just like the first one I did. Of course, I didn't paint this one, or sand and paint this one, and but it came off the printer really nice. So definitely a good job. And it works on the network. I don't know if you guys can tell, but put a little polish and a little wax to the top here, and now there's a bit of shine. What do you guys think? Is it looking a little better, at least with a little shine to it and not just the dull gray and rust color that was on it before?
Me and the boys were sitting around drinking, we was talking about things that we was thinking, when all of a sudden what comes out of Bill's mouth? Said I'm getting old and fat and slow, and I don't recover like I did before from nights of rabble, rousing and too much fun. Well, I looked around and we all agreed, and I had a drink and I ordered 3, and I staggered back to do it all again. Then we made an oath on a rum and coke with the best intention, I'm sure you know, that we would stop this living in excess. We're gonna have one more party, one more special occasion.